Fact of the day.
Fact of the day.
Hello, hi, and welcome to Fact Today with me, Mark Lotsu. Ocean life is controlled by what? So the full spectrum of life in the ocean hangs on by a thread balanced on top of a spinning wheel. There's a fine balance of nutrients and chemicals within the ocean. Too much of one and everything dies, not enough of another and everything dies. Here are just a few of the elements, of the chemicals that keep life in the ocean ticking over. Iron. Yes, iron. This is an element that limits the extent of life in 1/3 of all the oceans on the planet. Everything needs iron to survive, ranging from an element to help fix oxygen, to take oxygen out of the air and transport it around the body and the blood, all the way to plants using it for photosynthesis. Now, we're not talking about like a shipload of iron here. Even in the highest density areas of the ocean, you've still only got 30 nanograms of iron per kilogram of seawater. So a nanogram is 10 to the minus 9 grams per kilogram of seawater. Tiny amount. Now, one suggestion is by adding more iron to the oceans, you can help increase the amount of phytoplankton, and phytoplankton are taking carbon dioxide from the atmosphere in photosynthesis and they're fixing it and they're taking it out of the atmosphere and reducing it. They're taking out almost all of the 40% of the carbon dioxide that's taken out of the atmosphere into the oceans. Where does iron come from normally? It's normally pumped out of these huge hydrothermal vents at the bottom of the ocean, spewed out, but then after a few years it settles. So the people are thinking of like spraying the ocean with iron. Not sure that's going to work out. Next on our list is nitrogen. Now you would have heard of fertilizer and know that fertilizers contain nitrogen. Problem is, too much fertilizer on the land causes runoff, and then this fertilizer goes into waterways, oceans, rivers, seas, the job lot, lakes, and then it causes algal bloom. So massive rush of algae, they grow. They can't sustain themselves. They block out sunlight to things below them. No more oxygen, everybody dies. So there's a difference between increasing the amount of algae and causing a massive increase in the algae, which then isn't sustained and it all dies off and all the oxygen gets taken out of water. The other problem is too much nitrogen fertilizer in the water causes the production of nitrous oxide, which then escapes into the atmosphere and breaks down the ozone layer, which we don't want. The other product that has a huge effect is phosphorus, and again, this is from fertilizers, and it's used to make DNA, and it's also used to make the energy carrier molecule in existence, ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Two bad guys to finish off with. Mercury, it can accumulate in the food chain, which means that the tiny things take up the mercury, doesn't get broken down. Bigger things eat lots of the tiny things, they get even more mercury. Bigger things eat lots of those, they get even more mercury. It doesn't break down, but it is toxic to your cells, toxic to your nervous system. It can cause brain damage and birth deformities and really just negatively affect reproductive rates. So we don't want any mercury in there at all. The other thing we don't want in there is lead. And again, this accumulates up the food chain, gets more and more and more of it. Almost every single bit of lead in the entire ocean comes from us. Not me personally, but humans as a species. Horrendous. So we want more iron and phosphorus, some nitrogen, not too much, but no mercury or lead. That doesn't mean go start chucking iron bars into water, because that's not going to have the same effect. The ideal situation would be not to screw up the ocean life in the first place, but it is what it is. That is ocean life is controlled by what? Thanks for watching. Love you, bye, love you, bye. Love you, bye. Seriously, what's up my way?